Assalamualaikum. My name is Rania Kristina. My metric number is 306830. Today, we look at federalism in Malaysia, the system that divides power between the federal and state governments. Under the federal constitutions, especially the ninth schedule, the federal government handles national matters like defense, finance, and foreign affairs. States manage local matters such as land, water, and Islamic affairs. In theory, this creates balance between national unity and state autonomy, but in reality, federal influence is often stronger, especially through financial control and policy direction. This raises the question, is state autonomy truly protected? To maintain balance, the Conference of Rulers and the Yang di-Pertuan Agong (YDPA) act as constitutional referees, ensuring both levels of governments follow the constitution. But the question remains, how balanced is the system today?
I'm Asha, number metric T05608. Let's start with section 5.1, the demographic profile of our respondent. Our study successfully collected data from 110 UM students across various academic backgrounds. Looking at the gender distribution, women make up the majority at 74%, while male students accounted from 27%. In terms of age, the largest group fall within the 21 to 23 years old category at 68%. They align perfectly within the year of study, where 70% of our respondents are intermediate students from semester 4. Lastly, ethnic 85% of the participants identify as Malay, followed by Chinese 7% and a small percentage of Indian and other groups. To summarize the demographic section, our data represent a matured group of mid-university students because the majority are in semester 4 and aged between 21 until 23, and they have already been academically exposed to governance and constitutional study in UM, making their insight highly valid and reliable for this research. Moving on to section 5.2, let's analyze our independent variable IV, which is the level of awareness of federalism among students. This variable measures how much students actually know about the division of power, the federal constitution, and constitutional institutions. Our data show an overwhelming high level of basic awareness. For instance, 94% of students understand the concept of federalism, and 89% are clearly aware of the division of power between the federal and state government. More importantly, 95% of respondents recognize the federal constitution as the supreme law of the country. Furthermore, 95% of them know about the specific constitutional rule of the federal list, state list, and concurrent list. In short, the analysis of our independent variable IV proves that UM students possess an advanced and strong foundation of civic knowledge. They are not ignorant, they highly understand the constitutional boundaries and legal structure that govern Malaysia.
My name is Norhawa, metric number 305601. Now, how does this high awareness influence student opinions? Let's look at section 5.3, our first dependent variable DV, perception of federal control. This measures how respondents view the reality of central dominance over state administrations. The result shows a massive consensus. Over 92% of respondents agree that the federal government holds greater overall authority than state governments. To summarize, this first dependent variable DV, the centralized system, is a double-edged sword. It successfully provides national stability and security, but it poorly protects state autonomy. Students perceive that the absolute financial and policy dominance turn a theoretical partnership into a lopsided hierarchy where Putrajaya acts like the big boss.
Equally important is section 5.4, our second dependent variable DV, perception of state autonomy. This measures student view on whether states should be given more local power and financial independence. Our data revealed that 82% of students acknowledge the state government currently face severe constraint and limited autonomy in decision making. Interestingly, 88% believe that granting more autonomy will directly improve administrative effectiveness and public service delivery at the local level. Furthermore, 82% of respondents support fiscal expansion, meaning they believe states should be granted more independent tax revenue source to meet local development needs. To wrap up the analysis of the second dependent variable DV, the data heavily reflect that students desire decentralization. They strongly believe that because state government understand local conditions better, giving them full authority over local resources and tax will make regional development much faster and more effective. Section 5.5 shows respondents' suggestion to improve federalism in Malaysia. Most respondents support increasing direct funding to state at 87%, reducing federal invitation in land management at 80%, and reviewing natural resources royalty distribution at 85%. This shows strong support for greater state autonomy and fairer financial resources. Besides that, respondents also agree on stronger cooperation between federal and state government. At 94% support better technical cooperation, 91% support regular consultation system, and 90% agree on broader power for local authority or PBT. Lastly, 88% support awareness campaign on the Constitution and MA63, while 93% agree on more allocation for rural infrastructure. Overall, respondents support a more balanced and cooperative federal system in Malaysia.
To evaluate this fairly, let's look at the three strengths of having a strong central government that we analyze. Firstly, seamless and national stability. It ensures the whole country follows the same administrative rules and stays stable, without messy or different laws in each state. Secondly, fair wealth redistribution. The centre can collect all major national revenues and give fair funding allocations to lower income states to help them grow. Thirdly, strong crisis management. It allows the central government to make fast decisions and move national resources quickly during big crises like major floods or pandemics. However, this centralized system also creates three major weaknesses that affect the states. The first one is central overreach. Putrajaya often use general national interest excuses to interfere and block state decision or local ordinance. Second is financial starvation. Because the federal government controls almost 94% of financial resource management, states suffer from vertical fiscal imbalance causing project delays. The third one is regional dissatisfaction. When policies are made at the center without considering local socio-economic conditions, it creates a feeling of being marginalized.
Finally, let's look at section 4.6, the core interaction between our IV and DV. Our research proved that there is a direct relationship. Higher constitutional awareness, IV, lead to a more critical perception of federal dominance and a stronger demand of state autonomy, DV. Because students understand the constitution, IV, they can see the clear vertical fiscal imbalance in governance, DV. To bridge this gap, our group elite proposed four main solutions from section 6.0, which is implementing fiscal decentralization, limiting the federalists from blocking state decision, establish joint federal state development council to stop political favoritism, and introducing MA63 awareness module in universities to protect regional rights.
Although Malaysia practices federalism, many scholars argue that the system is heavily centralized. The federal government control major areas such as finance, education, internal security, and national development, which limits the independence of state governments.
Federalism is supposed to allow states to manage local development based on their needs. However, uneven resource distribution and dependence on federal funding can widen development gaps, especially between Peninsular Malaysia and East Malaysian states like Sabah and Sarawak.
Greater financial autonomy could allow state to implement policy that better address local issue and reduce dependence on federal allocation. However, it may also create governance challenges if state lack proper financial management capacity.
Federalism has contributed to stability by dividing power and recognize state government. However, tension may arise when political parties controlling state government differ from those at the federal level, causing policy conflict and slower decision making. On paper, the Federal Constitution of Malaysia outlined a division of power between federal and state government. In practice, political realities often show stronger federal influence, raising question and whether Malaysia fully practice true federalism. In conclusion, Malaysia federalism is at a crossroad. Our data and analysis prove that the youth see the current system as lopsided. To build a stable future, we must move from centralized command to a true balanced partnership where Putrajaya and the state stand as equal pillar under the supreme law. Thank you from Elite Verified.